I was raised in Mecca, not Mecca, the holy city in Saudi Arabia, Mecca, California, a small agricultural, unincorporated community north of the Salton Sea. The community made up of mostly Mexican immigrants. In fact, the Coachella Valley as a whole has a very large majority of ethnic Mexicans. Most Mexicans are culturally Catholic Christians, but there is also a large growing group of Mexicans converting to Protestant Christianity, like me. My parents grew up as traditional Catholics, and later in their life they converted. So I grew up in a very conservative background, which was actually a Pentecostal church. I really loved my church. I feel like at that place I did find my awe for God, my respect for God, but I also feel like it really made me judgmental to the other, because we were right, they were wrong, we had the truth, they had the lies and the false doctrine. I feel like this mentality subconsciously made me alienate other religions and religious people, because they were different, because they were evil, because they were unknown. And I feel like that generated fear and also might have even led to hate. But I never really had to confront this issue because the community I lived in didn't have much diversity anyway. If you look at a map, in the roughly 40-mile stretch from Mecca to Palm Springs, there is only one mosque. In fact, it was right next to the Pentecostal church the whole time I was there, and I didn't know it. I knew about Jehovah's Witnesses because they would come to my door. Other than that, people of other religious traditions were a mystery to me. It wasn't until years later that I started to become more exposed to different religious thinking. And it really all started with podcasts. I worked on my family's farm, and plowing the fields on a tractor takes a long time, many tedious hours. And to pass that time, I would listen to programs like the BBC, NPR, and other stories that had to do with religion. I had rededicated my life to God at that time and had my own God experience. So anything and everything that had to do with religion really intrigued me. So it was by listening to these podcasts that opened up new ideas of religious thinkers, these different theologies, all these new ideas that really started to challenge my faith. I had always understood that my faith was the truth, but realistically, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what other religions were teaching. So it was at this time that I felt the burden to really understand why I believed what I believed, and also to try and understand other people's religions as well. I knew that I wanted an unbiased approach to learning about religion, so I decided to take the academic route. I found myself looking at some college programs online and became so excited about the courses offered. I knew then that religious studies was for me. I started my journey as a transfer student at San Diego State University, which meant I moved into a city rich in diversity and religious pluralism. One of the first things I did was join the Religious Explorations Club, where I would ultimately become president. The mission of the club was to promote religious literacy and tolerance in the community of the school. We did this as a group by visiting different religious organizations, including new religious movements, and hosted a series of open discussion lectures on the issue of Islamophobia. By listening, asking questions, discussing issues, and even taking part in rituals with our neighbors helped remove the veil of the unknown for me, which in return removed my fear, and this helped me respect other people and religions. In the Bible, Jesus gives us one of the greatest teachings, which is also the great commandment to love our neighbor. But how do we love our neighbor if we don't know our neighbor? It wasn't until I made the effort to get to know the people of different religious backgrounds that I got to see firsthand how passionate, genuine, sincere, and wise they are, which made it really easy to love them and respect them and appreciate them. I really believe that if people from different religious identities and backgrounds made an effort to really get to know one another, the world would be a better